Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and oh my gosh, I love to be outside. Just parked before going on my evening walk. I wonder if this goes long enough, if it'll turn America into an after-dinner walking culture. It's something I noticed when I was in Guam. Uh, literally, the entire neighborhood goes walking after dinner. I actually, the first time I saw it, I thought there was a riot or something like that, because you just see all these people come out of their homes and essentially within a few minutes of each other, and you're like, what's going? Oh, they're all walking towards us. Oh boy, no, they're just heading to the park, say hi to everyone. Anyway, so obviously I'm doing more videos since I am on house arrest for breathing, as I am now calling the lockdown. But anyway, I saw Grandma's Boy for the, let's just say, 50th time. Oh my gosh, I freaking love this movie so much. And today I actually looked up the Wikipedia and I finally solved the mystery for myself. So let's get into that. So Grandma's Boy came out in 2006. It stars Alan Covert, who you might go, who? And then when you see him, you go, oh, I know that guy. I just didn't know his name was Alan Covert. They have, damn. The guy whose name I memorized before I started this video because I forgot it. Basically, it's an entire movie made out of the people that you see in Adam Sandler movies that aren't Adam Sandler. This was, Adam Sandler had been doing his movies by this time for about 12 years. It was a well-oiled machine. And he had these buddies who they just kind of pop up in every single one of his movies. And finally, he started, kind of farming them out. I think he did Strange Wilderness. I think that was a Happy Madison movie. I know for sure Grandma's Boy was Happy Madison. That's Adam Sandler's production company. And yeah, so I remember when it came out and people were very, very dead set against it because, basically how I just described it. They're like, so it's an Adam Sandler movie without Adam Sandler. And the thing is, by 2006, Adam Sandler movies, they had a good heyday in the 90s, but by 2006, people hated Adam Sandler. I'm talking about produced by him, and I mean they had the Mr. What was it called? The one where the guy from Maine becomes like a millionaire, whatever. That one did okay. The one with the Winona Ryder. But they were having the terrible ones like Little Nicky. Don't tell me Little Nicky. I saw Little Nicky in the theaters. I believe it was straight out of SOI, and it was horrible. You have to understand, coming out of boot camp at SOI, almost any book is, or almost any movie is going to seem amazing, and that was terrible. Then they had Click. Do you remember Click? So this was the bloom was off the rose for Adam Sandler movies by about 6 to 8 years by the time this movie came out. And then it was an Adam Sandler movie without Adam Sandler. So everyone was like, go to hell. It did terrible. It did $6 million in the theaters for its entire run. We're not talking about opening weekend. We're talking the entire run, $6 million. Then it came out on DVD, and it just kind of built and built and built and built. Especially me being in the military at the time. I was back, did 4 years in the Marines, got out, finished my degree, went back in, this time into the Army. So when you go into, back then, back before you had streaming and all that type of stuff, Netflix, that was the main thing. You go into someone's barracks room, what's their DVD collection? And I literally just saw Grandma's Boy grow and grow and grow. And so I finally saw it, I think, when I came back from Iraq the second time I saw it. So this would have been 2007 time. And I actually watched it to make fun of it. They had the base library had a pretty good, actually pretty darn good DVD collection, and then the PX would have DVDs. So I was like, this looks so stupid. This is like an Adam Sandler movie without Adam Sandler. It's amazing. Here's the deal. It is barely a story. They only really introduce a conflict. I am not even kidding. In the last 18 minutes of the movie. What is it? It's about a guy who's middle-aged, who works at a video game company, and he has to move in with his grandma. And you might say, well, there has to be like a twist. Like, no, that's it. So there's a lot of jokes about how old people are old. There's a lot of jokes like that. This movie is perfect. This movie is freaking perfect. I love every second of it. Every single bit of it hits. And the only people I've ever heard talk bad about it are the ones who didn't see it, or like they're like, oh, I saw like 5 minutes of the party. It was stupid. Yeah, okay, I can understand. But, I mean, so it starts off, like I said, Alan Covert is a 35-year-old who looks in his mid-40s, because that's what he was when he filmed it. I looked it up. He was like 44. Because he very much looks like he's in his 40s. And everyone keeps mentioning he's old. And then at one point of his character, he goes, hey, I'm a 35-year-old prodigy. So I just did something I've never done before, and I actually stopped recording the video just to look up someone's name because I want them to get credit, and that is Nick Swardson. Nick Swardson co-wrote the movie along with Alan Covert and one other guy. By the way, I looked up it's really well done. I looked up the director. He's basically done like almost nothing since. He does like music videos for he'll direct, like if one of them does like a stand-up special, he'll direct that, which is basically like point cameras at the stage. Alan Covert is the main character. He's a 35-year-old. It's a rough 35, working at a video game company as a tester. He gets kicked out because his roommate was giving all his rent money to Madame Kamei's Filipino Palace. I'm telling you, like, this is I'm trying to think. It's more almost like a not exactly. Okay, this is gonna be a weird analogy. You know how in Mad Magazine they would, if they were doing a parody of whatever, Jaws, they would squeeze something funny into every single part. Like, that's how it is. Like, every scene, even just like him getting kicked out of his apartment, like, it's almost like this little mini movie. I've rewatched just the scene of Rob Schneider as his Russian landlord kicking him out, and just so he gets kicked out. He goes and stays with Nick Swardson's his co-worker. That does not work out, and then he ends up moving in with his grandma. And then what happens? Just things. It's not really a story. It's not a story. What it is kind of the ultimate hangout. I described previously, I said The Predator was like the ultimate hangout, because it's like you just kind of hang out. It's not a movie to be watched directly. If you watch The Predator directly, it doesn't really... It's kind of like... how you go to some parties and there'll be like a game that some people are watching, or a movie that's what it's for. This one it's literally... You're not really watching the movie so much as hanging out with the people in it, and it almost aggressively does not have a plot or a story. Alan Covert wants to bang his new female boss who's really hot. That's not really a story. There's no real twists to it. There's one guy who's weird, but everyone just points out he's weird to him all the time. That's not a story. He does a bit where he says he's living with 3 hot chicks, so he looks cool, but he's really quasi-homeless. It doesn't really go anywhere. When people find out, they just kind of go, oh. They make a couple jokes, and then it's what it is hilariously and just solid. Like, they're even just little bits like, hey, we're having a party, all these people are coming over. To recount the jokes requires basically to tell you the entire scene, so it's kind of hard to describe what it is. But it's, now everyone says, oh, I hate Adam Sandler. There's good parts and even the bad ones. It's like they took the little good parts from all of his other movies and then made a movie out of that, out of like spare parts or cut scenes or cut jokes. And what happened? Nothing. Like I said, Jonah Hill, this is one of his first movies, and he's like barely recognizable. His voice doesn't even really have that voice he uses in the, like Superbad and stuff like that. So it's just kind of like, he's like, that looks kind of like Jonah Hill. Okay. Yeah, it's this great little movie. It made like $6 million in theaters. It made $50 million on DVD rentals, which is insane, and you know, purchases. But besides Jonah Hill, just nobody really went anywhere. I remember around the same time I saw Soul Plane, and you know, I was like, I'm not stopping the Kevin Hart. I've actually Nick Swardson and Kevin Hart. I said Kevin Hart's gonna be the next big thing, and he was about 10 years later. Nick Swardson, oh my gosh, I saw him in, it was a preview for some movie coming out. Oh my gosh, he looks like shit. Nick Swardson, you probably know him from but he was what was his name? Terry, the gay male prostitute on Reno 911 with the roller skates. That's what I think most people know him from. But when you watch this, it gives every indication that like Nick Swardson is going to be a huge star, and he kind of was like in the college humor circuit for a little bit, but he is several years younger than me, and he looks much older. He just looks like absolute dog shit right now. So yeah, I'm you know, I looked up everyone. Now when I say nothing happened, they just went back to what they were doing before, which was to be in a bunch of Adam Sandler things. Adam Sandler produces a lot of movies on Netflix, and right, so they'll pop up in that. I always kind of wonder, like, I know like Mike Stoklosa absolutely like I don't even think loathe. I think he straight up hates Adam Sandler, and he does this bit on Half in the Bag where he basically kind of pseudo accuses Adam Sandler of committing fraud, although it's not really fraud. He points out that every time Adam Sandler writes a movie or has someone write it, it's just an excuse to go to a nice place. Hey, I want to go to a water park and ride water slides for weeks on end. So let's set like half of a movie in a water park. Let's set a movie in Hawaii. His movies are always set in nice places because, you know, he gets to go, you know, be there on set for 2 months with his buddies. But I always wonder, like, how much of a hookup can he give to, you know, Nick Swardson appearing in 5.5 minutes of Grown Ups 3? Like, can he get him $200,000 for that? 100? I mean, it feels like almost with all like the agent's fees, you'd at least have to get him like $200,000. I don't think like regular just like working actors make that much for just such a small role. So I don't know how that works, but it's pretty much, you know, the main stuff they get is other Adam Sandler stuff. But it might be hard to recommend since I basically told you it's a movie with no story, and I didn't really describe the comedy that much except for to describe it. It works really well. Things pay off in a very satisfying way, even though there's no conflict until the last 15 minutes. Like I said, it's just a hangout movie. Don't judge me, monkey. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'm watching like 4 different movies at the same time because I'm really sick of everything right now. So I got that TMNT. It's like a 3D animated movie from like 2008 or 9. Working my way through that. I think that's it. I watched Goodfellas and Legend with Tom Hardy. Not Tom Cruise, Tom Hardy. I was going to do a comparison video for that, but it's like, it's really not fair. It's really not fair comparing Martin Scorsese to like anything. Everything else is going to look bad. So it's like, that's not the best concept for a movie. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.